Hey, what's up guys, Baltech here. I was just kind of going through my Levi today trying to decide what weapons I was going to switch out and what's more viable, what's not. And I started testing the heating on weapons to see, is this weapon better, is this worse, is this going to provide good heat, is it not? So I started going through and testing everything, and I actually came across some interesting discoveries, which I kind of wanted to share with everyone. Right off the bat, I kind of wanted to show you guys some of the heating mechanics. First of all, being that the heat is not, like, it doesn't overly stack if you heat a bunch of or use a bunch of parts to heat the same part at the same time. It just stacks additively with the percentages. So right now I'll show you with the Mastodon. A single Mastodon, single Mastodon does 144, and then you hit it with the Toadfish, it totals up to 522. Now, the way I'm doing the percentage math is it's going to be the total value minus the heating number, and then you get, in this scenario, 522 minus 144 equals 378. Now, if you minus the the Toadfish's base damage, which is 280, you get 98 damage, which is your bonus damage. And then what you do is you take 280 and you multiply it by 0.35, which then in turn equals 98 damage. So that's kind of how you're finding what the bonus damage percentage is, based off your weapon damage. So it turns out that if you do the 280 times 0.35, it equals 98, therefore equaling 35% bonus damage that's being applied by the heating debuff from one Mastodon. Now, with two Mastodons, the total damage is going to be 357. You hit with the Toadfish, it hits for 833 in total. So 833 minus 357 is going to equal 467. And then you take away the Toadfish damage, which is 280, which is going to equal 196. And then you take 280 and then you multiply it by 0.7, which is 70%. And then it equals 196. So that's your bonus value, and it turns out it's 70% extra damage debuff on the target for heating. Now, what I did also is I kind of went an extra step further, and what I wanted to do is I wanted to see if you kind of let the heat sit on a target and didn't damage it, if it would start to slowly drop. It turns out that it does not, and I will show you an example right now with kind of some of the weapons that I've been testing, because it's like big chunky numbers, easy to kind of calculate with. Where's the Yorm? Here's the Yorm. Get them all off the same button. Okay, so if I go over here, I get the damage buff ready to go on the Yorm. I hit with the Yorm, hits for 240. I hit with the Ripper, hits 840, which is just purely double damage. Because a normal Ripper shot is 300, which I'll show right now. If this goes. Okay, 300. So 240 plus 600 is 840, which is the value that we got. So that's just purely double damage. So if we hit and then we wait, because it'll stay, the debuff will stay for about 5 seconds, then it goes away. Now if we wait for this to go, hit again, then we're gonna wait for 4 seconds to pass. Okay, we hit, still hits for 840. The percentage number did not drop whatsoever. So now we could take it a step further and see what happens if we try to extend the debuff with another heating weapon. So we hit with the Yorm, we wait, we extend, so 600, and then we hit with that 1200. So even if you max out the heat and then you extend it, it still does not go away. It'll keep staying or adding to the heat value if it hasn't reached 100 yet, consecutively until it just hits 0 on the timer and resets. Then you have to start back from 0. But that's kind of like a cool thing I figured out. So like in a situation where you're focus firing a target and you kind of see the heat start to simmer on a target, you might want to go back and reheat the target so that you can get it back up. Like most of the time you'll probably be using Mastodons. Heat that up. It'll be at 70 if you get a double hit in. Then you hit it again, it'll max out at 100. And then so on and so forth. You'll be just getting crazy amounts of double damage. Now, what I did is I went through all the heating weapons and I kind of tested it for you guys to see how, like, what percentage each weapon actually puts on a target. So right off the bat, since we have the Destructor ready to go, let's do the Destructor first. And the Destructor is going to do 192. That's the starting value. And then we're going to wait. Okay. Yeah, so, okay. And then we heat 192. Total value is 552. So we do 552 minus 192 equals 360. And then you minus the Ripper's damage, which is just a base 300. It equals 60. And then you multiply 300 by 0.20, or you could just do 0.2, which equates to about 20%. And then that in turn equals 60, so you've kind of matched it up. So now you know that it deals 20% extra damage for one trigger, or not trigger, but Destructor, hitting the target, heating it. So if you were to use 3, it would be 60%, and then you'd be able to tell the values. So now let's go to the Athena. Athena, where art thou? Here we go. So on the Athena, we do one shot. It's for 108. We hit with the Ripper. That's for 448. So we do 448 minus 108 equals 340. And then you minus the 300, which is the base value for the Ripper, equals 40. And so you multiply 300 by 0.13, and it equals 39, because the Athena doesn't actually quite do, like, right spot on the equivalent number within the percentage. So it's probably like 13 point some minor number, like 23 or some weird stuff. But it's about 13% per Athena trigger pull. So if you were to have 2, you hit all your shots, all 4 shots with 2 of the guns, it'll put you at right about 100% heating after you hit that final shot. Then you have to wait for the reload, and then every shot after that, if the part is still hot, will be at 100%. Now let's go to the Helicon. Right here. Alright, so we hit with the Helicon. Let's get up to it and hit. 73. We hit with the Ripper, 418. So 418 minus 73 is 345, minus the 300 for the Ripper equals 45. And then you take 300, you multiply that by 0.15, which is 15%, and that equals 45. So you've matched up the bonus damage. which means that it's 15% bonus damage that you're getting with the Helicon for the heating debuff. Now, the Yorm, just keep it on this one. The Yorm does 100%, which is bullshit, but it's just crazy damage. So we start off, hit for 240, and then we hit with the Ripper, 840. This one's kind of easy math, so 840 minus 240 is 600. 300 minus 300 is 300. And then you just multiply 300 by 1 equals 300, 100%. Alright, and then we did the single Masto already. Now we can get to some of the epic weapons. We got the Trigger and the Gravistar. So let's do Trigger first, because that's how I the order in which I have everything. We hit with the Trigger, 111. Then we hit with the Ripper, 441. So 441 minus 111 equals 330. 300 minus 30. 330 minus 300 is 30. Sorry about that. And then you multiply 300 by 0.1, which is 10%, which equals 30. So you've matched up. And then that equates to it being 10% bonus damage from the debuff. So we have the Gravistar. We go up. And let's see here. Hit for 44. Go with the Ripper, it's for 380, so 380 minus 44 is 336, minus 300 equals 36, and then you multiply 300 by 0.12, which is 12%, and then that equates to 36, so you've matched up the damage bonus, and so the damage bonus percentage equals 12%. Let's go off to the Trombone. So we lock on, we shoot the Trombone. Does 20 explosive damage, and it hits for 570. So since it's explosive damage, we don't have to deduct that number, because it's not alpha damage, which is what we're calculating. So we're hitting for 570 minus 0, because we're not deducting anything from it, because that's the only value. And so that equals 570 minus 300, which is 270. So then you multiply 300 by 0.9, which is 90%, and that equals 270. So the total damage bonus from each trombone is about 30%. All three trombones connect, it's 90%. So yeah, I also tried to test some fire weapons like firebugs, Dracos, Ensigns, Mandrake. It's kind of hard to calculate that, but what I could tell from the firebug is that it is about 1% per tick. So each tick from the firebug, like damage tick, is 1% of heat added to whatever parts are in the fire's path. I wasn't really able to do significant testing with the incinerator, just because like it's just a huge mess and it's super hard to calculate or figure out even what the damage value is, because it's constantly going up and up and up and up. But yeah, guys, I hope you guys can kind of use this information about heating to kind of like help and improve your guys' just coordination, and maybe start using heating weapons to take down targets faster and try to focus fire targets in a specific way to make sure heating keeps up, all those things. But yeah, if you guys found this video helpful or insightful or anything of the above, just make sure to subscribe and like my channel so I can keep putting it out for you and be more motivated to do so. You guys have a good one. Bye.